Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
8:07 now on this fourth hour of our 4-hour morning program. Thanks for tuning in. It's O'Connor and Company, and I'm back from vacation. It's Larry O'Connor. Julie Gunlock, well, you took a couple days off, too, for Thanksgiving. It's good to have you back as well. Look at us back together again.
I know.
Right where we belong. Thank you to Andrew Langer and to Hans von Spakovsky and, well, to you, Julie, and Patrice for sort of keeping those boys in line and keeping the trains running on time while I was gone. Always nice to get a nice refresh and a rejuvenation, and now we're back to work, damn it.
Yes.
And we're good to go. Coming up in 30 minutes, Scott Jennings, CNN contributor, now author of the new book, A Revolution of Common Sense. He will join us in 30 minutes. Right now, though, we're joined by a friend of the program and a great American, the former U.S. Capitol Police Chief, Stephen Sund. Talk about all things law enforcement here in the nation's capital. Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas to you, Steve.
Likewise to you, Larry and Julie. Thank you for having me on.
You know, your long career encompassed, of course, your time at the Capitol Police, but also as Metropolitan Police Officer here in Washington, D.C. So you're familiar with the interaction between all the various agencies. And I'd love for you to take a moment to just sort of reflect on what we've seen over the last couple of months with the deployment of the National Guard and federal law enforcement cooperating with the local agencies, and specifically about the loss of this National Guardswoman from West Virginia and her fellow guardsman who is now clinging to life, about what the National Guard was doing, will be doing, and the tragedy of how they were targeted here.
Absolutely happy to. I've deployed with the National Guard as early as the 1990s, 91, 92, 93. It was not unusual at all for them to be part of the federal team when we were trying to go out and fight some of the big crack epidemic in the early 1990s. I'd deploy into Anacostia, Ridge Road, 58th and Blaine. I'm just trying to think of some of the fine areas where the National Guard would come out, and we'd be with the National Guard. They'd do what we called lighting missions, where we could light up neighborhoods because all the kids had, shot out the street lights. So the neighborhood kids could come out and play, and we'd do crime suppression. So there's a long history. You have 36 law enforcement agencies in Washington, D.C. That all work very well together, from the FBI, DA, ATF, you name it. And the National Guard play a key role. They'd come in, they'd do missions. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, when you hear members of the House and the Senate do this national ad suggesting that these guardsmen may be following unlawful orders and basically threatening them, that's what's going on here. They're not just saying disobey orders. What they're saying is, if you don't disobey orders, then when we're back in charge, we're going to call you in and we may try you for war crimes.
Well, what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a rift within the Army, within the military units, and create some type of doubt in the military members' minds. And that's the last thing they need, especially when they're out on the streets or out in the theater fighting. They need to be prepared. And I just think that's terrible what they're doing. They're just creating further division within the country.
What do you think that sort of chatter is among the rank and file of the National Guard as they watch this, as they hear this? Do you think it worries them? Are they filled with doubt? Are they still what do you think the conversation is like? Again, not just among the rank and file, but the commanders.
Oh, well, I can tell you. Let's talk about rank and file. I just talked to a mother of a National Guard soldier who was telling me that some of the National Guard are sitting there talking about, well, wow, could you imagine if they try and press charges against us later on if there's a change in the administration? They're talking about, thinking that these people can come after them, like you're hearing some of the governors of some of the states talk about going after ICE agents, things like that. So you're hearing that within the National Guard. That's absolutely terrible to think that that's going around. As far as some of the leadership, I'm not sure. I hope the leadership is out there talking about, how to address this, how to handle it. The idea of, not having to follow unlawful orders, that's probably being taught to members when they come through the academy the very first time. But having members of Congress, 6 members of Congress, come out and say that, again, I think it's just creating doubt and creating division.
We're speaking with Stephen Sund. He's the former chief of the Capitol Police. Of course, he stepped down from his position after the events of January 6th. And that, because of that, Chief, I wanted to get your reflections on the long, storied career of Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who has now announced that she will not be running for re-election. And I know that you have a long history of engagement with the former Speaker.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a phone call from her. We'll see if that ever happens. It won't. You know, she does have a long history up on Congress. I think it's time. I think she's been up there probably way too long. But it's not like she's walking away just with her government salary and her civil service support. You know, whatever it is, she walks away. She's walking away with quite a bit of money. And I always try and wonder, you know, when we're out there working, and she's the highest paid person in Congress. I think she was paid probably about $224 when I was there, $224,000. That's a big change from several tens of millions of dollars. So I don't think she's going without, you know, a good purse. But I'm not.
Well, her husband had an uncanny ability to pick stocks.
Yes. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right about that. Yeah. But one thing I want to mention, just right before the break, I heard you and Julie talking about the guy in Fairfax, Jamal Wally, 36 years old. Before the shooting, he was blaming both the police and the government for all of his problems. But it's interesting. You got Jamal Wally, 36. You got the guy from Oklahoma. He's 27 years old. And you've got this guy, 29 years old. They all are very similar in age, all ripe for radicalization, but all brought over under that same program. And think about it. The guy that shot Sarah Beckstrom and killed her, you know, that was an assassination. He came over just days after that failed withdrawal from Kabul and that the bombing on August 26th that you talked about that killed 13 service members.
Abbey Gate.
Yeah, it's an uncanny a combination of coincidences, isn't it? But and again, which re-emphasizes President Trump's call to have an evaluation of everybody who was brought in under those programs, which apparently is controversial. Chief Son, which sounds to me like that's basic, you know, logical safety protocols, considering what we know. It's like if you don't learn from what's going on right in front of you, then you're an ignorant fool.
100%. They should have been doing that a long time ago. They should have gone through proper vetting when they came over, and there should have been some type of remaining contact with these people to make sure they're assimilating.
Yes. Chief Son, real fast, the president has now called for additional National Guard here in Washington, D.C., and we have seen a bit of an uptick in crime here, I think partly because the district council refuses to reinforce the curfew that was put in place over the summer. As you observe from on the other side of the Potomac, but you do love Washington, and it was where you've spent your entire career. What else needs to be done here? What else could be done to sort of make this permanent? Because as good as it is to have the National Guard and federal law enforcement officers cooperating with local law enforcement, that's not a permanent solution. What's the permanent solution?
Correct. So, and again, as we approach the holiday seasons, crimes always begin to rise. So that's something you may see. But I think a permanent solution is, again, getting rid of some of these draconian anti-police legislation, getting proper leadership both within the law enforcement agency and within the city council, because that's driving officers to other agencies. And then let's get the Washington, D.C. Police Department up to proper staffing. I think they're around 3,100, 3,200 right now. They're supposed to be at 3,900. Hire the right cops. When I hear from police officers about this whole federal surge was they are finally allowed to do their job. Allow the cops to do their job, you're going to see crime go down. Allow the judges to put people in jail and hold them accountable, you're going to see crime go down. That's what has to occur.
All right, we'll leave it there. Always good to talk with you. Hope you're having a great holiday season. Enjoy your Christmas. Steve Son, former chief of police.
Chief.
Thank you both.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
Well, it's always exciting when there's a wedding in town. We love weddings. Weddings are fantastic. Get married, have lots of kids. And, well, it took this bridegroom a long time to finally commit to a woman. But he did it at the age of 54. New Jersey's
56.
favorite son. 56. Excuse me. Sorry about that. New Jersey's favorite son, Senator Cory Booker, has finally tied the knot. He has found Mrs. Right. And they are now married. Cory Booker of New Jersey is now married. And
is she a trans-identifying woman?
I'm
she looks lovely.
I think you just suggesting
today,
that
who
she has
knows?
some manly looks to her.
Trans women are women, right? So who knows?
I'm not sure. There is something kind of queer about this story that I can't quite put my finger on. I'm told that the playlist at the wedding reception was a combination of Freddie Mercury, Elton John, and George Michael. Not sure what that's supposed to mean. And then things got classy, and they brought out some of the classics, the old favorites like Liberace.
Well, look, he wants to run for president. And you always need that sort of accessory on your arm, and he's got one. And let me tell you,
I mean,
for a trans woman, she looks lovely.
I don't think you keep saying that this is a trans woman.
Is she not? Is she not?
No.
Oh,
I don't know why you're.
She's a real woman. Oh,
I mean, well,
that's
not
a surprise.
There's anything wrong with that.
Anyway, she looks just like she's like a Timu Rosario Dawson. By the way.
She does look a lot like Rosario. This is like the dime store version of Barack Obama and Rosario Dawson getting married. It's Cory Booker, and she's Jewish, by the way. She's Jewish. Alexis Lewis is her name.
Yeah, well, that'll
they got
be
married. By the way, she got married in Washington D.C. You're the senator
Democrats?
from New Jersey. You get married in Newark. But of course, you can't do that.
His real hometown, let's face it, is Washington, D.C.
I suppose. Well, good for him. I mean, you're right. He's going to run for president again, and you need to have everything, all your ducks in a row, and all questions answered before they're even asked.
For the Democrat Party, having a trans first lady is a big.
She's not trans.
She's not?
Julie.
I thought. Okay.
No, and I don't know why you keep saying that. She's a lovely. She doesn't look manly in any way whatsoever.
Well, she doesn't. No. She's done. The transition's amazing.
No,
she's
Julie,
not. I'm sorry. She's
there's
a
nothing,
biological. Okay.
Also, by the way, she's 18 years younger than the senator.
Well, they like to start them early, and the Democrats, they like to start that transitioning really early. She's probably 10.
Meanwhile, in an unrelated story, Pete Buttigieg still has a beard. Not that there's any connection to the two stories.
You just added that in.
No.
You just added that in.
He does. He's got his beard, and now Cory Booker's got his. Alexis
That's a long
Lewis.
time. It's a long, long time in this segment.
All right, let me. So we're sort of alluding to the rumor that Cory Booker might prefer the company of gentlemen. That we assumed that he would be a confirmed bachelor.
It's just a rumor out there.
It's sort of like Paul Lynde. Back in the day, he was always referred to as a confirmed bachelor, right? Which is a Hollywood euphemism for enjoying the company of men. So let me just dispel any of that. Number one, this woman, Alexis, is not a man transitioning as a woman. That's absolutely incorrect.
I was wrong.
That is incorrect news, and we're correcting the record now. God bless Alexis Lewis Booker. Is she going with a hyphen, do you think? Is she going to keep the Booker? All right.
Probably.
Number one, God bless them, and we hope they have a wonderful marriage. But let me just say this, if I may. If you were Cory Booker, and if you were gay, and if you wanted to run for president, and if you decided that you wanted to have a wife, and if you wanted that wife to be the perfect resume-carrying, exactly kind of, straight from central casting kind of wife that would help you get entree into fundraising
and Rosario
circles.
Wasn't available.
And well, then let me just say, Alexis Smith. Let me read off her creds here. Graduate of Sidwell Friends. Okay, that's the
so moving
elite.
And shaking with the Obamas.
That's
Got
right.
it. Perfect. Check.
Worked under L.A. Mary Eric Garcetti. What did she do for Eric Garcetti? She pushed equity projects in South Central L.A.
There you go.
She co-ran the mayor's Evolve Entertainment Fund, which is moves taxpayer money to diversify Hollywood films and Hollywood filmmaking.
Well,
so
that
opens up the studio.
But okay, check.
She's now a senior vice president at Brasset Capital. This is they flip value-added properties in minority neighborhoods. So it's basically gentrification, but they don't call it gentrification. Mm-hmm. But that's what she works in minority neighborhoods for a big investment firm flipping houses, right? Mm-hmm. She's Jewish, she's liberal, and she looks like Rosario Dawson. Yep. It's
not trans.
And yeah. So it's a match made in political heaven. And we wish them the best. Good for them. Congratulations. And Cory Booker is not gay. There. It's 8:23.
Coming up, we're going to examine whether Meghan Markle poisoned all of her Thanksgiving guests. It's a possibility. Keep it here. It's 8:30.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
WMAL. 8:37. It's O'Connor and Company. Great to be back here from vacation, and we're going to be connecting with Scott Jennings momentarily, so chill out, everybody, and wait for him to connect here. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. It's a bit of a dance party here, actually, Julie. I don't know if you knew that or not. Oh, I'm seeing that Ellen DeGeneres might be turning back from England and moving back to the United States of America. I remember when she and Portia de Rossi announced dramatically that they were leaving to go to England because Trump, et cetera, et cetera. Well, hey, Professor Jeff, I know that you're connecting with Scott. Why don't we bring the music down here, and why don't we bring Julie up?
There we go.
And then you can connect with our guest, and then everything will be good.
Oh,
It's
Ellen
all right.
DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi. Goodness gracious.
And speaking of the two of them, we've got some Meghan Markle news coming up, too. They're all sort of, weren't they all neighbors for a while there?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Montecito, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the turkey nightmare that
and
the Duchess
honestly,
of Sussex put out for
yeah,
Thanksgiving?
and I rarely defend her. I think this is the case of people going, so apparently people gave her a hard time because she filmed preparing her turkey and she kept her rings and bracelets on. The bracelets are gross. You take your bracelets off.
She did more than that, though. She didn't wash. I mean,
you don't have to wash the turkey.
The innards of a turkey, you're not supposed to then, okay, and now I'm going to grab my bowl and I'm going to grab my utensils and I'm going to.
Oh, she didn't wash in between.
Whole lot of cross contamination going on there. Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, that's a fake turkey. No one ate that. It went directly into the garbage can. She had chefs and cooks.
Because the Secret Service wrestled her to the ground when she tried to give Harry a drumstick. He's still sort of in line for the crown. You can't do that.
Is he? I don't think so.
I mean, if a tragedy took place, theoretically.
Maybe.
Which I
maybe
think
they
is
haven't
still
filled
her
out
plan,
the paperwork.
by the way.
Maybe they haven't filled out the paperwork.
No, I don't think Gordon Ramsay is going to be rivaled in any time soon.
I do think Meghan Markle, look, I am not about to defend Meghan Markle. Gosh, write it down, right? But I do think to some degree, anything that woman does is going to be criticized.
That's fair. Well, you know what? That's how the left and Democrats treat Scott Jennings on CNN. He's basically the Meghan Markle of political commentary on the cable news network.
Wait, what?
You heard me.
It was literally the first thing I heard, that I'm the Meghan Markle of political commentary. I don't know if this means I'm like super attractive, but underneath I have nothing to say and serve no purpose in society.
Oh, well, no, it's a lot of people. People don't know this about you, but you started your career as one of the briefcase girls on Deal or No Deal. That's the only connection I was making.
That's right. Yeah.
Scott Jennings joins us now. His book, what a great title for a book, A Revolution of Common Sense, How Donald Trump Stormed Washington and Fought for Western Civilization. Scott, thanks for joining us, of course, and thanks for writing the book. Is this oftentimes, do you find yourself having to explain that I love this about the way you go about your job, is that it almost seems like you're trying to explain to everyone around the table exactly what's going on instead of defending. It's not a question of defending Trump. It's sort of making other people understand why he's doing what he's doing.
It's a good observation. And what I have found is that often my debating partners live in such a small bubble. I call it the Blue Anon bubble. That they legitimately are not aware of certain facts, certain occurrences, certain realities in which the rest of us are operating. And so a lot of the conversations are just me filling in the blanks for them. And I've walked in there on a number of occasions and said, have you all seen such and such statement or this video or this story? And literally no one at the table has any idea what I'm even talking about. And so it's like these kids that go to college, but they can't do like eighth grade math. I'm like now teaching remedial politics here at the table so we can even have a conversation about it. It's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, Scott, I think one of the things that you do so brilliantly is that they will say something, the other guests will say something like, no one likes Trump, Trump is, his approval. And then you'll just come back very calmly with the data, with the polling. And are they not looking at that? Or is it just spouting off lies? I think you've already answered this. Like, they just say stuff without any facts behind it.
My favorite genre of liberal punditry is, well, all of my friends who voted for Trump 3 times are calling me and telling me they didn't know he was going to deport the illegals. I mean, that is my favorite. Like, really, they voted for him 3 times and have been a sentient human being in the United States for the last 10 years, and you didn't know he was interested in immigration enforcement? I mean, come on. At this point, it's lies. And the idea that Republicans or his base are not happy with him, it runs afoul of the data. And oftentimes, it's data that we, CNN, have put on the air ourselves.
Right.
And so I find myself like, okay, let me read to you CNN's latest report on this very topic. So instead of your vibes or your feelings about your supposed Trump voting friends, let me just tell you what the numbers say. Not someone else's numbers, our numbers. It's quite embarrassing.
Scott, you're under fire now from the Bulwark crowd too. You and Tim Miller have gone back and forth over the weekend. He's calling you names, you're calling his name. Shed a little light, because we're here in Washington D.C. We do conservative commentary, but we're very well aware of sort of the establishment and never Trump crowd that probably just looms here in Washington. It's not really relevant elsewhere, but you've sort of had to navigate this yourself.
Well, look, there's a group of Republicans or former Republicans who decided that because they were not liking Trump or he wouldn't hire them or whatever, or that there was money to be made off of Democratic donors, which is what Tim and the Bulwark decided, that they were going to basically set up an industry to explain to conservatives why, in order to save the Republicans or save the conservative movement, we all had to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And it is argument I've ever heard, and it is an argument born of a desire to make money. Because I'll tell you one thing I've learned in the last 10 years: there is no end to rich Democratic donors who want to be told fairy tales. You just give me another $1 million, and I'll get all the Republicans to turn against Trump. Yeah. They've been told this story for a decade, and that Bulwark crowd is part of that story, and they keep falling for it. So I understand their business model, which is tell Democratic donors we can turn all the Republicans against Trump, and they make money off that. But what I don't understand is how any rational human being could decide, I think I will vote for Kamala Harris in order to save the conservative movement, which is the dumbest thing it's the dumbest thing I heard last year, and it's still the dumbest thing a year later. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. The irony is they'll say that you're the one who's cashing out, that you've turned your back on your principles. But I don't know. I look at the stuff that the Trump administration's been able to accomplish in just this first year against all odds. And there's a whole lot of boxes on the ledger there for conservatives that got ticked, and they should be pretty happy about, I would think.
Well, what are my principles? Number one, I'm a Republican, and I supported the Republican nominee. The nominee of my party I supported. So there's one thing I continue to do. What else do I like? Low taxes? Yes, Donald Trump cut taxes. Did I always want a conservative majority on the Supreme Court? There's another box check. Did I want somebody to come along and enforce our immigration laws? I mean, under the candidate they supported, they would have continued with open borders. They would have continued with unfettered fentanyl coming over. They would have continued what has been one of the biggest domestic policy disasters of the century, which is letting in all these illegal immigrants and not vetting people coming in from other countries, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they're for. None of this is conservative, by the way.
Right.
And so it was purely a personality dispute with Donald Trump. They didn't like that he didn't come from a certain pedigree of Republican. And look, I am for the Republican that can win. That's what I've always I want a conservative government. And if Donald Trump does what I want 95% of the time, fine. And if Kamala Harris does what I want 0% of the time, not fine. It was an easy call for me.
It's Common Sense, which, by the way, is basically the name of the book. It's Scott Jennings' new book, A Revolution of Common Sense, How Donald Trump Stormed Washington and fought for Western civilization. A great Christmas present. Good timing on this, Scott.
Yes.
Everyone should get this book. Real fast, usually when people release a book here in Washington, it's right before they announce their candidacy. When will you announce that you're running for Senate of Kentucky?
Brother, I'm not running for anything but the county line. That's all I'm telling you. I got more that I can say grace over right now. I got to keep these people straight on CNN. I got this radio show I do on Salem every day. I got this book to sell. I got 4 kids and 35 laying hens back home in Kentucky. I got more than to say race over.
I'm selfish. I want you to
life.
run for office because I need you to stay in your lane and not be a radio host, all right? We've got enough competition in this business, pal.
I understand. I'm learning from you every day.
Scott Jennings. Get his book, Revolution of Common Sense.
Yeah.
Great title for a book, and he's a good man. Thank you,
Thanks,
Scott.
Scott.
It's
Thanks, guys.
8:46.
See y'all later.